every day when I get home from work, most days because I'm the first one home, mail gets pushed through. I have one of those slots in the door, not an actual mailbox.
Asshole, you cocksucker. Anyway, yeah.
I didn't realize it was going to ruffle some feathers with such a story.
Oh yeah, no, it's a big deal. Okay, this isn't 1930 where it's like, hey Wesley, how you doing today? Tickle my fingers on the way through. Yeah, go ahead. Whatever about your stupid door slot.
It ain't no finger tickling. It's usually if I'm in the house, I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck's that? What is that?" It's my paranoid self. Anyway, see a couple of things scattered on the floor, a couple, car insurance, this and that, and the other thing. Then a handwritten letter to me. Holy hell! I think I have an idea because I got one of these before, but it's been a while, and still, I think my senses, which are pretty dull at the age of 40, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Someone wrote me a letter. I don't know who the hell that is in the corner, but I'm going to open this. Murr, what do you got?
Is it Jehovah's Witnesses?
You bet your sweet ass is Jehovah's Witness.
Fucking Christ.
Check
They're
this
the
out.
only one still dedicated enough to take pen to paper.
All right, so I'm going to show you this handwritten letter with some really good cursive, by the way, on a legal pad.
Mm-hmm.
Sent me a slew of pamphlets, 5 of them in here. Say, what is the kingdom of God? Who really controls the world? Will the suffering ever end? Just jw.org. And then, how do you view the Bible? Well, all, very trifoldy. Alan, I got some questions for you, by the way.
Better than you guys.
Okay, got some questions for me. What you got?
Well, let me. By the way, so for those of you who are only listening, this is a full. This is a legal pad, okay? Woo, woo, woo. And then probably a quarter of the back. So front, full front, full frontal, and a quarter of the back. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to read this thing. The person
blue or
took
black ink?
it's tough to say. I'm going to
be blue.
It's definitely like a navy. Yeah, dark navy. So
Definitely like a navy.
The fact that they went to the back, went to the back of the page, because I find myself, and thankfully I have a pretty robust vocabulary, I'll find myself like, oh, I want to fill this page up. So I'll start writing longer words and I'll start making my sentences a little more flowery just to fill the page. They ran out of room and they probably didn't say everything they wanted to say.
Yeah. This is like, it took me hours to do like 1,000-word essay in college on something that I was studying. This guy did 1,000 words on me. He doesn't even fucking know me. But of course it says Wesley Fox at the top. And he knew my address. Bastards. How the hell I got into their fucking their service, whatever.
So what did you sign up for?
God, I got to stop drinking. All right, so I highlighted, and of course in yellow highlighter, so it's going to be tough to pick out pick out what I highlighted. Well, I was so excited. I didn't have a pink or a blue highlighter. Anyway, so I'm not reading all this, but this is some of the stuff that I earmarked as substantial. The world today we see that many people are suffering due to disease, food shortage, natural disasters, and war, even on our streets. So move down a little bit. The Bible reveals that Satan, the devil, is in control of the world of mankind. This is from John 5:19. A little different from Austin 3:16, but Alan, are you familiar with John 5:19?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I ain't that good.
So
what is it, John? What 5:19?
John 5:19. Jehovah is determined to bring Satan to the end, and then we move on to the back here. Last thing that I saw was important. The Bible explains how the world would be after its ruler is removed from the earth. Peace at last. Yeah.
Nice.
And then he gave his phone number, which I will refrain from sharing to the world. Although I might.
I don't know. You should probably share it.
You should probably call it. I have this discussion.
I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to. Oh, that's not a bad idea.
We do it live
You're
on
damn
air.
right. It's a good idea.
Let me think about this because if I call him, then I got to give my phone number.
I mean, we can call him from WhatsApp.
Different app. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And then we go by a different person. I say that, hi. My name's...
Obviously, this becomes a gimmick at this point.
But we don't think about the name before we say it. It's got to be on the fly. Like, hi, this is Ronald Ronson. You wrote me a letter?
You wrote me a letter?
Yeah.
This is Ronald P. Whirl, my brother Ernest, that I should get a hold of you. I
I was flattered. I was flattered at the time that it took this person to do this.
I too received one of those letters, not quite, didn't go front to back like that. And this was years ago when I was living down in Delaware. And it's funny that the highlighted portion that you had, it seems to be, I mean, that just seems to be part of their shtick. I almost remember that exact wordage. The devil exists in our society and must be taken out. War, famine, yada, yada, yada. So have you invited these folks into your house before? Because you do strike me as the, yeah, come on in. Let's have a talk.
No, sure haven't. They, as far as I can remember, I don't think I've ever gotten a knock on the door. But see, I ignore most of the time a knock on the door, and Alan, you can back me up on this, is someone trying to swindle you out of a better power bill. Did you have a copy of your power bill?
Let me see your BG&E bill, man.
I can get you
like crackheads. It's crazy.
I can get you a flat rate.
Yeah, I'm like, shut up, get the fuck out of here. Don't knock on my door.
Yeah.
Beat it.
So, I know I haven't invited a Jehovah's Witness into my house.
New world.
Okay. Because they're like vampires. Once you invite them in once, they'll come back every week.
Yeah. Unless you uninvite them, much like vampires.
Just like a few minutes ago, you guys were telling me to call the guy. Call that vampire.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you call them, it's different because, again, they don't necessarily know where you live, but they do know your first, last name, and address. So there is that little caveat. They might recognize your voice. Sounds like you're being stalked by a Jehovah's Witness. My other question is, what did they witness, by the way? Like, I mean, why don't they talk about that? They're Jehovah's Witness. Like, can we break that down? What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, Alan, I mean, next week we're going to talk, and this week in Classical History, we're going to talk about your expertise in what is it, political sex scandals. You're also our native co-host expert in religion.
Yeah, I am also our theologian, if you will, here at the Middle Class Holes. And Jehovah's Witnesses are wild, man. What is, I guess, the exact question? Look, they believe that in reincarnation, basically. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. But they're just Christians that are a little weirder. They're slightly culty. They definitely have like a lot of improprieties that happen in their church that like they cover up. I believe Jehovah's Witnesses also famously marry like very young girls, like 16. Like we're right at the edge of like the age of consent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not like all of them, obviously, but this is like some of the shit that does be happening.
Yeah. No birthdays. They don't celebrate.
Yeah, and no birthdays, no fucking holidays, none of that shit. They don't do blood transfusions. So like if you're in the hospital and they're dying and they need blood, nope, not doing it.
Well, hold on. Here's the fascinating point that you brought up that I've never heard one bring up themselves is the reincarnation thing. To me, like that's a conversation from my kitchen table. I'm willing to have that one with you. I mean, yeah, I get it. Evil's in the world. Devil exists. He's blah, blah, blah. Strings behind our backs. Need to crush the enemy. Yada, yada, yada. Tell me about this shit where I die and I come back as something else. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have to do a little bit more research. I don't know like the ins and outs of like how they perceive it. Like I don't know if it's like Buddhist where like I'm coming back as a grasshopper, maybe. You know what I mean? Like I think that they come back as kind of themselves, or it's just a euphemism for like coming back to being saved and salvation and shit because religion. Yeah, they definitely talk about like returning. That is a lot in their sermons and their, I guess, do you call them homilies if they're not Catholic? So yeah, that's in there. But I'll get back to you on that one. We could do a deep dive. We could do a fucking Jehovah's Witness deep dive. I'm down.
I think Murr's question is what did they witness?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay, my question is, do they get a bad rap? Because I feel like they're kind of the blunt end of a lot of jokes. Just maybe for dickheads like myself who just don't understand fringe religions. Because again, you had said it's Catholics, just a little kooky. I don't know.
Well, not really Catholics because they like another weird thing I forgot about is like they don't believe in like a Trinity. You know how like Catholics believe in like a Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. Like they don't believe in that. It's just God. Like if I'm not mistaken, they're another one that's like Jesus isn't the son of God. He's just a prophet. You know what I mean? So almost like Islam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I can dig
it's
that.
weird. It's definitely it's an interesting thing. I don't know what they witnessed. That's a goddamn good question.
Or is it like we're all on trial and they're like God's witness? Like, I saw that guy. He was being a shitbag. So come on and join her. I'm telling him. I'm telling Jehovah all about your shittiness unless you join the team. Come aboard. Let's knock on some pillars.
maybe that is it. It's like like God's army.
Yeah, like God snitches.
They're Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah.
And part of the hazing ritual is to write letters to would-be saviors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
It is so
like
sad.
a way cooler version of the witness protection program where you get to come back even if you get killed. If the mafia finds you in the witness protection program, you reincarnate.
When this stuff like this comes up, I think about South Park and their stance on the Mormons. Like, what if they were right? Like, you finally meet your end and the Mormons are in charge of everything. And I think about mocking these people. Like, think about all the things that they wrote in that personal handwritten letter to you about the atrocities they'd like to end in the world. Mm-hmm. Yes, maybe they're a little weird. They don't stand for the pledge. They don't have a happy birthday. There's one spiritual being among above all else, yada, 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 yada. But they're trying to do a good thing. Sure. And it's like, maybe if we just fucking stop mocking them for a minute and we're like, all right, listen, let's team up. What do you want to do? What's your end goal? Is it to build your numbers or is it to end all that shit you wrote down? Because if it's end all that shit you wrote down, maybe we can do something here. Maybe we can do a little collab.
That's a good point. I do think that there is some merit in saying, okay, look, I'm not going to go to church. You're not going to convert me. I'm not going to believe this shit. But hell yeah, world hunger. How about hunger around here? Violence, poverty, education. Sure. Clean up the corner. You fucking betcha. I'll be a half hour late, but when I get there, you bet your ass I'm fucking getting these hands dirty. I'll fucking make this goddamn piss hole look pristine. But yeah, I don't know, man. I have a hunch that if you don't do all the other stuff, it's not good. It's not righteous. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They're not going to let you into the club. They're like, okay, listen, we were going to feed the homeless today, but Wes decided he need candles and some sugar and a song sung to him. So Wes, you're out. Okay. There's not going to be any soup down at the hall today. Thanks.
Boo-hoo. My bad. Jesus. Blame it on me. I'll be the fall guy. That's okay. That's all right. Middle class holes, everyone. Jehovah's Witnessing. What do they witness? You let us know. You
tell us.
You let the middle class holes
know. You let us know. Call us.
We
don't have a live phone line, but I'm going to start acting like we do and telling people to call us.
Donate some money.
Just so you guys know.
There's a great. Do you guys remember the show 6 Feet Under? It was like HBO miniseries.
Yeah.
The mother of the main characters who ends up, she doesn't remarry, but she ends up having a love interest, and she tells him he wants to go to, or she wants to go to church and wants him to go. And he goes, I'm an atheist. That's part of the allure. I don't have to. I always thought that was a great solid line. No, I never let a Jehovah's Witness in. Don't answer the door. I did answer the door. What is it? It had to have been Mormons that knocked on my door when I was a kid. I answered the door with some boxers and like a fucking wife beater with some mustard stains on it once when I was about 13 with a girl who was about my age. Like, oh, hello. And then someone else was supervising behind them. I was like, yeah, what's up?
There's something to be said for the slightly culty religions to be beating the streets the way they do. You know what I mean? Like Jehovah's Witnesses be beating the streets, man, in groups, and Mormons do in pairs, which is kind of weird, but they're weird. You know what I'm saying? But I think there's kudos to those guys, really getting on the ground, getting their hands dirty.
Yeah, especially in Baltimore City, like that gets you an extra feather in Jesus's cap.
Yeah.
I have to think. I mean, like I said, I named off all the pamphlets that they gave me. I have to think that they said, all right, that the whole 2-3 pamphlet approach wasn't working. We're putting 5 in there. All right, we're stuffing those envelopes, and no stamps. These are going to be hand delivered. Walked door to door. We're not wasting money on stamps. We pay you assholes enough.
I just wonder what they witnessed you do that they felt your soul was needed that much salvation.
Obviously, they haven't listened to the show. I can tell you that.
Or maybe they have.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Or, like, I guess human nature would also be like if I looked at your name, you're obviously going to judge somebody by their name a little bit, right? Like, imagine moving down your list of letter writing for Jehovah's Witnesses, and you're like, Wesley Fox, you need Jesus, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, dude, does this guy really need Jesus? Probably. Wesley Fox sounds like a guy who's probably into the alcohols, you know? What do you think, Mark?
Telling me my name sounds like I'm a fucking alcoholic.
Yeah, I think so.
Nah, it sounds like a war hero, actually.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's Wesley Fox, Corporal Wesley Fox, pinned down behind enemy lines.
All right, so
where do you think the name Foxhole came from?
A war hero with some PTSD who drank a little bit and maybe fucking got a little violent with the family from time to time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just like a Gen Z frat kid who just moved to the city.
I'm not even Gen Z. Jesus.
I know, but he doesn't know that. He's just judging by your name.
That's right. Well, so the family name was John Wesley. And I think, weren't there a number of John Wesleys that there had to have been millions of them just crawling all over Scotland and England. Just Jehovah.
What, John Wesley Fox?
No. It was Fisher but I think that was a maiden name as well. It was John Wesley. I think it's a great uncle of sorts. It's where the family name came in. I'm named after my grandfather.
Gotcha.
What's your middle name?
William.
Oh, I knew that.
WWF. And
that
you bet your ass.
Yeah, you are the whitest person that I know, I think.
That's amazing. This is the first time, I don't know why. This is the first time I've ever known your middle name. I don't know why that is. I don't know why I've never been curious. Wesley William Fox. That's a good fucking name.
Yeah, because we used to call you Wesley Billy.
That's right. Yeah.
Ah, that's right.
You just thought that was just silly, right?
Hysterical. Wesley Billy's coming back.
We could
like it.
Yeah. Actually, I might write this guy back and be like, listen, it's not Wesley Fox anymore. It's Wesley Billy. All right.
Wesley Billy.
And if that has kicked you off a peg in the old Jehovah Witness hierarchy, sorry. I'll be a lieutenant. Can't be a colonel. Can't be a war hero.
You should make edits in the pamphlets and then write him a letter and send it back. You know where he lives? Does there a return address?
I threw away the goddamn envelope.
What?
I'd be diving right now, buddy boy.
You gotta go get that. You should call Sarah right now and be like, "Hey, can you fish that out real quick?"
I have a phone number. I'm sure he'd write me something else.
Well, I'm thinking you then expound your philosophies about life in the afterworld to him, almost like a culty pen pal. Like where you guys are trying to convince each other, maybe you drag this guys from the clutches of Jehovah's Witnessiness.
Oh, turn it around. Say, listen, you might think this is a call for me to join you, but I want you to join me. I got 100 in singles, and we can head on down to Baltimore Ave and fucking get silly.
Think you can do more good dealing with clean, nice, genuine folks like me? Or do we actually go in, infiltrate, undercover, like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed? We got to get our hands and maybe some fingers a little dirty.
This is getting better. You should do this. I like this idea.
All right, I'll set up a phone call. Do you guys trust that I can just record it and play it for the podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't care.
All right. Mull this one over.
I'm just going to be giggling if I'm on there anyway, so I'm useless to you. You don't need me around.
All right, scamming a Jehovah's Witness. I'll see what I can spin up. It's a worthwhile venture.
See if you can get them to make a donation to us.
To the middle class holes, or do I have you use an alias?
Whatever you want to do, man.
Okay. Yeah, to the Wesley Billy Foundation.
But yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We help underprivileged strippers get out of the stripper life, get into secretary life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teach them how to type. typing class.
Yeah, actually, no handwriting in their classes. Just typing.
We run daytime typing classes with daycares for single stripper moms. Would you like to help us out?
$50 nominations. Wow. All right. This is we're going to move on to friend or foe. And the headline reads, fake Russian astronaut scams a woman. I'm going to leave it at that because Murr, you have the printed out paper. You didn't handwrite this. You printed it out like a normal fucking human being. Give the folks a rundown and let us know. And I'm going to concentrate as hard as I can on what is friend and what is foe.
Okay, well, you could have done a better lead in, as usual. You could have been, speaking of scams, it's time for this week's friend or foe. That's right, Wesley. There's a scam coming straight out of Russia where a fake Russian astronaut scammed a woman, telling her that he needed money to pay for landing fees here on Earth. So as far as online scams go, this one's out there.
This is so ridiculous. Alan can barely stand up.
Landing fees. Oh. A friend, whichever side of this is this dumb broad getting taken for landing fees.
You're pretty much reading my mind. Claiming to be a Russian astronaut who was currently in space, a man scammed a Japanese woman. That's amazing. I mean, the fact that the Russian guy called Japan. You're worried about calling a guy who probably lives 3 blocks down the street from you to talk to him about his witnessing of God's duty. And this guy called a Japanese woman to say that he was on the International Space Station and he needed some ruples to get his astrocraft back to the ground. Let's see. Promising to marry her once he got back home. It says, read on to find out more. So the man targeted a 65-year-old unnamed victim on Instagram in June. His account contained various photos of space. That's all it took. He said he worked at the International Space Station, where astronauts have limited cell service. A Japanese message app says that the man told the woman that he loved her and ultimately asked her to marry him. He sent her messages such as, I want to start my life in Japan, saying, this 1,000 times to you would not be enough. Now I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I'll keep saying it. I love you. The man claimed that he had to pay for a rocket to fly to Japan and landing fees once he was in the country, and that's what he needed money for. So he wasn't just going to land a Soyuz capsule back in like Kazakhstan. He was going to go rogue. He was going to leave the International Space Station, take a rocket, and land it on Japanese soil, and the Japanese apparently charge about $30,000 for landing fees. And so, you know, she became, let's see, but the man continued to ask for money. The woman became a little suspicious and did, in fact, report it to the police finally. So, friend or foe, if you were dumb enough to fall for such a scam, are you not deserving of paying out that money and no legal action should be taken against the scammer? That's your friend. Foe, no, we need to protect the people that have extra chromosomes and make sure that they are safe from the rest of the universe.
Who's taking it? Me?
We'll let you. Let you start.
I said what I said earlier because I'm friending fucking this person. The scammer should probably get paid more for by a government for just the accomplishment. That's a Nobel Peace Prize kind of shit. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I feel like even if you were just trying to do this, there are better things to say that you need the money for to try to get home from space. You know, I don't know what they are, but it certainly isn't land. What does she think? It's an airport? They got to pay a fee to come? No. Oh my God, I don't know, but good for her. She an old lady. How old was she?
65.
65. But wait, the story does go on to say from August 19th to September 5th, she paid the man 5 installments of $30,000. It wasn't until he asked for more money that she reported him to the police.
Right. She got a little suspicious.
She paid him.
She got a little suspicious after 30 grand. That's
after 100 grand.
5 installments of $30,000. That's $150,000 in my understanding.
Yeah,
no.
Paid up.
It totaled. So the woman paid him about 4.4 million yen, about 30. So it was over five installments. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
totally 30
right.
grand. Yeah. Still, Jesus, bat a fucking eye at.
Here's what flips me out even more about this, though, is that this woman's 65, right? So she was alive throughout the entire history of human space travel, right? What year was the Apollo landings and all that jazz? So she's been alive. You and I, and me, you and Alan, we've only been alive to witness that through, the eyes of history and the History Channel. This lady's been alive to witness it in real time. You would think that even though she's older, and old people tend to fall for scams more so than the rest of the public, but the fact that she's older and she would understand how space travel works a little more efficiently than you or I would,
right? And
wouldn't be so susceptible. So that makes her even dumber on the scale.
Yeah, I mean, what you would do for love, Some people have hopes, and I tell you what, I like. First of all, I'm friend on this. Now, if this person gets caught, should they pay it back if they can, if they haven't already pissed it away in some fucking blackjack casino somewhere outside of Moscow? And second of all, I was always weird about this. Do Russians speak a little bit of Japanese and Japanese speak a little bit of Russian, or do you think this was just was this a love language?
I think that Russian is so hard to learn that Russians, if they want to communicate with the outside world, will learn any language that's available to them. Because no one else can speak their language.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like if your mark is dumb enough, you could just use Google Translate and you'll get by.
Gotcha.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
I'm a little nervous about the fact. I mean, so 65, they didn't give too many personal details. My mother's a widow. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that she's going to get easily duped by re-landing fees, especially in like the town of Perryville or, probably Elkton. Elkton would be, a town of 12,000.
That's more believable.
They have more of the infrastructure that could handle an entry fee back into the United States. But I might throw her a bone and say, okay, listen, if you're getting anonymous emails about would-be astronaut lovers, especially a captain or a lieutenant or something like that, let me know. I think I'll handle this. But I mean, Christ, the woman got suspicious after $30,000. I'd be like, $10. I'm like, I beg your pardon? Or so wait a minute. He was going to go rogue, right? He was going to get the fuck out of there. He was going to steal something and get back in.
I mean, for what other reason? Was he on the run? I mean, did Russia not pick him as astronaut? Their top 10 astronauts to live on the space station, and was he disgruntled with the international space agencies?
Right.
When did this happen?
From September, whatever, August to September.
August to September.
Like a month ago, 2 months ago. Maybe he was maybe it was Russian draft time, and he was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna tell the Japanese lady I'm a fucking cosmonaut and I need to get back to Okinawa.
That's actually reasonable if he's like, yes, fighting in Ukraine. As soon as I land, I go and pick up arms. I don't want to do. I land with you. I need landing fee.
Yeah. And you said that he used stock images. I don't know from the website, and I'm going to share this with you guys.
Is his Instagram on there?
I don't know if this is what he used, but if that swindled her, especially with the American flag on the corner too, that would be good.
It's me.
Yeah.
And apparently he's been blasted right into an asteroid belt.
That's right. Hold on. It gets better. This was me taking off.
There's the Earth behind us.
That's right. The rockets are still blasting.
It's a great view.
And this is from my time in the Russian Navy. The U.S. is the United States Army, the Ranger. The stock images on this suck, but
oh god,
yeah. So I'd have to go friend as well. If you're willing to buyer beware. Wasn't that a big thing they taught us in the limited economics classes we had in school is like buyer beware. I mean, they had to create lemon laws, of course, at some point because shady car dealerships. But other than that, it's like you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Do you remember when I owned that little 2-seater, that RX-7, the late 80s little hot rod?
I'm not sure if I remember that one.
I owned Alan, you remember that? The old Mazda, the 2-seater, the convertible top. Yeah, there's like a 1988 Mazda RX-7. Anyway, I was walking or biking to work at that time, so I said, "Fuck it, I'm I have money. I need a car, but I don't drive all the time, so I want something a little older, sporty, cool." I had to narrow it down. I did one. It was a Volkswagen Corrado. That was like my number one pick. It was a little above my budget, but hit up a guy on Craigslist. He's like, "Yep, Maryland." He's like, "Hey, look, I'm stationed outside of Georgia, Robins Air Force Base. So the thing is, you pay me now, and I can go ahead and get it shipped up to Maryland." I was like, "Fucking okay, all right, fuck you. You're lucky I don't report you to the International Space Station."
Yeah, like did she call the police or did she call like Japan NASA?
Yeah, that's a great question. Who do you who do you contact in that scenario?
Japanese Space Force.
Anyone who's not gonna fucking laugh in your face.
Well, right. I know we talked about the notorious Matt Walsh last episode, but we had a Nigerian scammer call us, and we actually got him to go to an airport to meet us, and he called us from the airport pissed off like a hornet with a fucking garden hose on his fucking nest. It was amazing. And Matt pretended to be some bumpkin from Texas and was trying to convince him he was just down the road. He'll be right there. Oh, it was glorious. Good. By the way, Department of Homeland Security warns scammers strategically target recently widowed or divorced seniors due to their vulnerabilities and access to cash. So,
yeah, that's pretty well known.
No, I mean, to the tune of $30,000.
I know. By vulnerable, it sounds like they got twitchy vaginas. Get them stuffed.
There's vulnerability, and then there's being scammed by an astronaut.
I used to work at a call center for some credit unions.
Okay,
man, I could tell you some shit. And sometimes it's sad, and old people get duped, and they get their money back because it's fraud, right? But like, at first, it's kind of sad. Sometimes divorcees take everything, and people get very angry on the other end of the phone.
Hey, do you think to make it a little more authentic, the fake astronaut was like, "Oh, I love you. I want to talk to you." Did the breaks?
Probably. I don't know. Did they talk on the phone? Is that what it said?
No.
Yeah, he had limited cell time. That's what he said. So he could only call her for a few minutes. So there wasn't time for her to question.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. No, probably not then. Cell phone.
Okay, you're using logic and reason, Alan. This guy's he probably was like, "Yeah, listen, I'm up here at the International Space Station. I'm going to need $30,000. I'd do it all with my mouth. I'd be fucking Michael Winslow in my fucking kitchen, like a police academy.
Like
Japanese reentry fees are crazy. It's taxed. It's gotta go through all these checkpoints right in the air, right as I'm coming in.
Otherwise, I'd have to land like normal and take a $200 flight to Japan.
Space customs is exponentially more expensive.
Well, too bad. They didn't say it was a widow or whatever. I don't know. Too bad. Sorry. Better luck next time. Hope you find love on the International Space Station. All right, one and done it up.
One and done. It's time for some fun. I'm going to give you guys the option tonight. Would you rather talk about the afterworld or animals?
I feel like
Wes, I'll give it to you.
I feel like we got slammed a lot in the opening with Jehovah's Witnessing and all that shit. And I don't know. Afterworld kind of got religioned up. So let me get some animals. Let's get some animal action up in this. Alan, is that okay?
Okay.
Wait, what was the question again? Sorry.
Animals it is. You pulled them in.
Animals it is. Okay, here it is. Your one and done question of the night. Would you rather eat a talking cow or a talking chicken? And Alan, we'll start with you.
I got some questions. I'm leaning cow, but so am I just eating a live cow? Is it cooked? Am I cooking it while eating it? Is it raw?
Okay, I'm assuming the way that this question is worded, a talking cow or a talking chicken, you are going to have to slaughter this animal in order to eat it. So who would you rather reason with, converse with, rationalize with? Would it be the talking chicken or the talking cow? Which one the guilt factor of eating the animal's got to come into play. The conversation's got to come into play. So where do you think you'd be more comfortable? Which animal are you taking down?
Yeah, I think that in that context, then I go chicken because like I feel like the cow's kind of mellow, right? He's just chill. He's like, hey man, I'm a cow. I got milk. You can make cheese with it. Don't kill me. And like the chicken's just gonna be a bird. It's gonna be spastic. Have you ever seen a chicken or chickens running around? It's just gonna be annoying if it could talk. So wring its neck, fucking cook it up, fry it up. It's delicious. Chicken.
Agreed.
Wait a minute. I thought you said you had to talk to the animal while eating it.
Well, would you rather eat a talking cow or a talking chicken? Like you've got the option. There's two of them.
Yeah.
I'm not talking while I'm eating it.
Yeah.
It talks before I slaughter it. Is what?
Yeah.
More clarifying.
And you went with chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think I would just mock the chicken and let it know that I ate a bunch of would-be kids. I fried them suckers up, put them eggs right over something. Ha ha! You procreating, I'm eating. Look at you.
Yeah, then you gotta kill the cow.
Man, I could do that too. Shit.
I mean, I guess you can't go wrong either way. I mean, if the cow's a dick, then fuck him. Kill the cow. But I think the likelihood that the cow is pretty chill and the chicken's a fucking chicken,
right,
in personality, are gonna hold true, and then it's just easier to kill the chicken because he's a pain in the ass.
I like to think of my cows as like from Far Side comics. You know, they're just cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool
Do you want to kill one of those talking cows? No.
Oh, really? But I mean, you put a chicken breast or a thigh next to me in a fucking porterhouse. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
The deliciousness of the animals. See, the thing is, like, chicken is like a blank slate. Like, what are you gonna make with it? Are you gonna fry it? Are you gonna I don't know, like bake it with some like Italian dressing or something? Hey, there's plenty of options for chicken, but a steak. A steak is a steak. I mean, even if you got an unseasoned steak, it's still steak.
That's true. Another clarifying question: full-grown cow or calf? We talking veal here?
Yeah, I think we're going cow. I think we're going full-grown cow. Veal is overrated. I tried veal one time because I was like, everybody always like, gets all hot and bothered over veal, and I even felt guilty by him. Like, well, this was a baby cow, and then my rationale was like, but he's already dead, so I don't want to waste him.
Yeah,
and it wasn't good. It wasn't good to me.
Yeah, I've had great veal.
Yeah, me too. I got shamed at a table for eating it once, and I was just like, yummy.
I got the fucking veal medallions at Tio Pepe. Oh boy, that place is fucking. I mean, everything there is delicious, but yeah.
Yeah, they even gave me like leftover gnocchi cheese, and I was like, give me just.
I thought you were gonna say they gave you a picture of the calf.
Yeah. Look, I think he's talking to me.
I named him. It's Theodore.
But no, I think I'm with Alan on this. I think I'm going with the chicken only because I feel like I'd be depressed like killing the cow, because the cow is already in such an unnatural like environment from what they were like genetically programmed to be. We've relegated them to this like one little pasture. They can't run anymore. All they can, hey, what's going on? Hey man, I was gonna make some steak tacos tonight. All right, do what you gotta do. But then the chickens, they're just like a bunch of little cocksuckers running around. What are you gonna do? And they're gonna fucking attack you. And they're just gonna be like little like pit vipers. They're trying to like snap at your ankles, and then you're just gonna want to kill them anyway, just because they're dicks. Chickens are dicks. So I feel like, taking out a chicken, That might even be satisfying. Might even be more satisfying. That chicken might be more delicious because you took another asshole out of the world. So I'm going chicken.
You could be like, and you mentioned the steak tacos. Like the cow's got probably, if you really want to boil it down to it, probably 15, 16 decent cuts that you can choose from. The chicken, you got 3. It's breast,
but do you know how to butcher a cow, sir?
Me, no, not at all.
Yeah, well, you have to fucking figure it out. That meat's gonna go bad.
I'll just grind it all up.
I don't think that's how that works. But, okay.
I have gotten it's funny how the algorithm works. I have gotten this one, and I don't know what I'm looking at, but this butcher, this guy, he specializes in buying bulk to save money for his restaurant, and he explains like what he's like, oh, blah, 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 and you want to get through this little tough part right here.
Yep,
look at that.
I know that. I know your guy.
Beautiful. Oh man, and I get a half chub just watching that.
The only thing I feel like I'd have a problem with is like, it's not the meat itself. It's like getting it to where it's meat itself. Like it's getting rid of the hide. It's getting rid of the intestines. It's getting rid of like the lungs and the heart and the asshole and all the stuff that you don't see in those videos. Yeah. I feel like if you just gave me like red rib cages and like, femur bones, like I'm okay with that, but it's everything that comes before that. That's where I have an issue.
Yeah. And if you're Christ, I feel like if you are to watch one of those, either in person or a video, and they just brush all that shit into some conveyor belt, where does that go? Does that feed chickens? I hope not.
Yeah. It feeds other cows.
They're cannibals, huh? Unknowingly.
By the way, that's what mad cow disease. Like that's where like that big outbreak came from. Is they were feeding too much cow to cows, and they were fucking their brains up.
Oh, when was that? Like the mid 90s?
Yeah, late 90s.
I feel like Alan, I don't know if you got this in private school, but in public school I feel like they were showing fake stuff where cows were having seizures. Like, look at this. Eat pizza instead.
Nah, I don't recall.
You don't recall the mad cow disease breakout?
I remember like hearing about it, but we didn't get shown.
Yeah, it was mainly in England from what I remember. But yeah, you just like, it's like all the prions and shit get in your brain. You can't fucking kill them. It's just they eat your brain and you seize out and die.
Yeah.
Fun times. That's your one and done, friends.
Maybe they just dump all that shit in the ocean now. Let the fish have it.
Let the plastic have it.
Oh, all right. We move on from hypotheticals about talking cows and talking chickens to real facts that we can digest and dissect and talk about. Fun Fact Friday.
Let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Brought to you, of course, by the Shin Splints Recovery Group. If you have not visited the Shin Splints Recovery Group, don't worry. They're growing in size and they're easily accessible through Facebook. Find them, the Shin Splints Recovery Group on Facebook. Got that pain below the knee and above the ankle? They're the dickwads for you. What are you going to say, Wes?
No, I enjoy the Shin Splints Recovery Group plug each and every week. That's all.
If you alternate walk-run marathons in large cities, join our friends at the Shin Splints Recovery Group. They're gonna give you kudos and probably talk to you about how your shins don't hurt.
It just like, okay, we talked about someone scamming potentially or allegedly a widow about $30,000 about re-entry fees into Earth, and they're going to get married. When this is all said and done, I pray I might give the owners or the creators of Shin Splints Recovery Groups $30,000 if we can get all these motherfuckers rounded up and I can get on a megaphone and tell them they've been had. Ha ha! You dumb fuckers! This guy's a scam artist. Look at you.
I struggle with this so much because it's not like he even feeds into it anymore. It's just it's a
self-sustained group. It doesn't need him to promote it anymore.
Yeah, it's just a community of dickbags who have no fucking clue of sports science. And I know what it is. It's like when I want an answer to something, but I want like my answer to something like, hey, and you ask the internet the question that you want the answer to, and then the shin splints recovery group pops up. It's like, what can I do about shin splints? And it's like, well, guess what?
There's
a whole community of dickheads.
Support group.
I typed up shin and splin, no T, okay, in the search bar in Facebook, and it's the fifth down. Shin splint solutions, treatment, symptoms, and then the shin splint recovery group.
Yeah. Wow. And he unashamedly has left up the Alex Smith fucking
yeah.
RoboCop boot.
1.1K members, dicks.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny.
This is the group for open discussion about trials and tribulations that shin splints can cause. We don't judge here.
Should try to set up like a shin splint con or something and see if we can get like a bunch of people to come to a convention about shin splints. And then we should each man a booth selling some fucking hacky shin splint recovery tool.
Yeah, just creams. Just creams that we make in our bathtub.
I don't know. I might
it could be a specific type of rubber band used to stretch your shin. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just cut high tense rubber bands in half and tie them together.
Yeah.
This.
Be like, here, should tie one around your ankle and around your knee, and then go for a run. It'll work.
Consider the average age of the people in that group. We should just buy some 1970s kicking boots from the NFL. Where you tie the shoelace to the toe and then up to your knee, and just sell them for $700 a piece.
Have a booth that's cream and just have it ketchup. This is right. This is real deal stuff.
It's just various condiments.
The guy over there with the yellow stuff, no good. This is where
you're a little more tender down near your ankle. You're gonna need this mayonnaise here.
Well, I smell vinegar. Yeah, it really penetrates the surface and gets into the muscle tissue. Let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. OMG facts. Did you know 20% more antacids are sold the day after the Super Bowl than any other day?
Damn. Well, I mean, that makes sense. I didn't know that fact, but 20%.
That's a lot.
Fucking, you dump all your chips in that marketing fucking spiel right there. God. I mean, wings and pizza and whatever else you can get your grubby drunk
chili,
hands on.
Hot sauce, fucking 5-layer dip,
a keg of Hormel.
That's good stuff.
I wondered who won that. Remember, we were going to do a follow up on that, bastards.
Yeah, we never do follow up stuff. So we should follow up on how many follow-ups we've ever done.
It's kind of our thing. We say it and then we don't do
it. It's not that kind of show. Dangle the carrot.
Yeah.
20%.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
I know there's not antacid salespeople. Alan, you're in the sales business. I'm sure there's not some guy calling up a CVS listen, tomorrow's a big day. And your whole nut for the years on the line or anything.
You're correct. He's not making phone calls. He's beating the streets. He's stopping it. He's like, hey guys, can I speak to your store manager? Got some fucking pop-ups here. Want you guys to put out the Rolaids.
I got I got to cut out a Michael Strahan holding it.
Yeah. You got to nestle it up right here next to the registers. You're going to want to get these front and center for the folks.
And it's weird. Okay, so football, or the social event of football, lends itself to eating that type of food, and obviously the granddaddy of them all. But I mean, okay, 4th of July, is that not a big eating / cookout day, or is that you have hamburgers and hot dogs and other shin splint condiments / recovery juices that might help things out? Football is the hot sauce mecca of American eating. Okay,
I think that's obviously what it is. But you just brought something up. Just if I were the Rolade salesman, right? Why wouldn't you go to every Walmart and be like, hey, I noticed you got our product in the medicine aisle. That's not where you want our product. You want it right here next to the Frank's Red Hot. We're going to put our Rolaids booth right here next to, your cosmic disco fucking hot sauce rack.
Yeah.
Like why? That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do you one better. Where's your top employee? We're gonna give him a Rolaids gun. All right, he's gonna have a backpack full of fucking Rolaids tubes, and he's just gonna fire them off. Pop, 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 just mowing them down in the fucking hot sauce aisle. Fucking Super Bowl, baby, America.
Why haven't they gotten to the Buffalo Wild Wings game, man? Like, why isn't there like a Rolade station at the Buffalo Wild Wings? I think I need to talk to the marketing department at these. I mean, what is it? It's flavored chalk. That's all it is.
Yeah. Say, hey, you want
calcium?
You want to turn that 20% into 40%? Right here. Right here.
It's like that Always Sunny episode where Charlie eats chalk for his heartburn and draws with acids because they draw better.
Christ.
Did you know drinking 2 glasses of wine has the same effect on your body as staying awake for 17 hours?
Wait, 2 what?
2 glasses of wine.
2 glasses of wine has the same effect on your body. I don't understand any of the science behind any of that.
But don't they also promote wine as like a fat or like a weight loss type thing? Not 2 glasses, like 1, right?
Yeah, maybe.
I think like a red wine because it thins your blood out a little bit, and there's antioxidants from the like the grapes.
Yeah,
but I'm guessing the rest of the damage maybe to your liver and to like your sleep patterns and to your just overall general health. I don't know. That is the one thing I don't like about the OMG Facts calendars. There's no follow-ups.
There's no footnotes for follow-up on some sort of...
Without much context, I'll say that that's fair because I drank a bottle of wine once and it felt like I was awake for 48 hours. So, I mean, if you scale it up, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, a wine drunk is a different drunk. I definitely have like a different type of hangover off of wine than I do off of my White Claws or my Coors Lights.
Yeah. One's like feeling like dirt, and one's feeling like the poop that the cow that you talked from came out of.
One's feeling like garbage, and one's feeling like fancy garbage.
Yeah.
I'll let you guess which one's which.
Did you know? How do you do that? Why would you know what? I'm glad that this OMG Facts calendar is getting thinner and thinner by the day. Because how can you lead me into a fun fact with a question? Ever heard of a cryovolcano? How the fuck was I supposed to lead into that without ever reading these things? It's a volcano that shoots out ice rather than lava. Cryovolcanoes only exist in outer space. They can be found on icy moons.
If Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan had challenged that one, might have been a different story.
That is a Joe versus the volcano reference, folks. It's Tom Hanks' only bad movie.
Like, why? I just don't understand why these are the references that you make.
It's a joke now.
Well, clearly.
But I have heard of cryovolcanoes. Like they like to these animators with their computers like to really like fancy them up real nice whenever you watch any kind of space documentary.
Maybe that if our Russian scam artist had any goddamn wits about it, he'd be like, I'm racing away from a cryovolcano.
Exactly.
That's probably what he did. He was like, listen, babe, I gotta get up out of the space station. There's a cryovolcano coming.
Yeah. All of us are gonna be crying if we don't get out of here.
The cryovolcanoes, they just float around the galaxy spewing ice lava. Very, very dangerous.
Cryo, and it's only on. It's not here, right? There's not like volcanoes that are.
No,
I mean, there's no I'm trying to think of like if there is a volcano that's part of a mountain range that's way up there. You don't have like a Mount Everest of volcanoes here not the States. Excuse me, the Earth.
I think there's some pretty high up volcanoes, but not like crazy.
But they're high. Now, I'm not trying to mock.
Yeah.
But they're high up because the hot molten magma is like a zit that is pushing its way up out of the earth.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
even though it's high in the air, so like the outside's cold, the inside's still.
Well, my
Still
thought,
juicy.
my thought is if you got something that's like as high as Everest or K2 or Kilimanjaro, that by the time it reached top of the volcano, that it would be like kind of icically.
No, not at all.
I'm not saying that's what happens. I'm not saying that's.
I know what are you saying?
That it's fascinating that it's only other planets. That's all.
Yeah. So
Well, it's
the tallest. Sorry, the tallest volcano is in the Andes, and it's 22,615 feet, which is pretty fucking tall.
Yeah.
And Mount Everest is 29,032 feet. So almost like a mile and a half taller Mount Everest is
wow.
than the tallest volcano.
No, but to your point, Wes, when it came out, it'd still be hot, but it would definitely cool fast as fuck.
Gotcha.
Like up there. Right. What these things are is there's frozen water under the surface of like one of these moons, and like some geological event happens and it actually starts to melt, and it's still a heating process, and then that shit just it expands and pops.
Yeah.
So it's still a volcano. It's just like super sub-zero.
Did you know in Mount Everest they use dead bodies as like markers?
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah.
They found, who was it? Admiral Byrd? Who was the guy who climbed up there? Like one of the original guys and fucking died on the way down. He's still there. Yeah. They finally found his body after an avalanche. And his skin, it's so cold. He's like preserved. His skin is so like, it's like porcelain. Like if you tap him, he'll crack. So they just leave him alone. He's there forever.
Ugh.
Yeah, that shit's wild.
Yeah. And finally, did you know around 1,600 New Yorkers are bitten every year by other New Yorkers?
that involves 3,200 New Yorkers.
I believe it.
Yes, it does. Yes. So 3,200 people every year are involved in a bite incident.
Out of like 8.5, 9 million, that's not so bad. I'll take my chances.
but okay, wait a minute though. You say that, but if that was like okay, we're from Cecil County, so if that was in the Cecil Wig, like how many man bites other man or man bites woman stories do you see in the Cecil Wig? Like every year, like you would think under those parameters, there would be at least one a year.
Right.
I don't see people getting bit once a year.
There's no subways. There's no like crowded walkways, things like that. And I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I would also like to see out of how many of these 1,600 biting incidents were followed up by a straight right to the fucking face. You bite me on my forearm. Bam! Fucker.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. There's close proximity, which gets things a little hot and bothered. But like, are these skirmishes, or is it like you're standing on like Fifth Avenue and some guy's just like, and then just runs across the street?
Yeah, there's just rabid people walking around New York City. Maybe it's sexual too. Maybe there's some sort of biting incidences going on in.
I feel like it's a lot of homeless, probably.
The homeless are doing the biting?
It could be.
He's probably right. Like, you ain't give me no 4 nickels, I'm biting your arm. Nah.
Yeah. You feel like a homeless subway denizen fucking biting you for not like swiping your Metro card for him or something,
This is terrible. This is terrible. I'm going to tell it anyway. Murr, I don't know if you remember this, but because when we went up to watch that Yankees-Orioles game way back, 2008, and it was one of the subways that we took, and I don't know if it was to the game or back or to dinner or something like that, but there's a guy walked into our cart, said he had AIDS, said he had no way to get no access to prescription drugs or anything type of treatment like that, and he was asking for money, and he like shook his thing, and that was it. Then he walked through, went to the next one, and you could barely hear him because he was talking so quietly, and he was just sitting there shaking the thing. And later on the night I mocked him. I was like, I have AIDS. I can't get any prescription. And if you don't put any money in my jar, I'll viciously bite your forearm and possibly affect you with this illness. That is terrible. That is terrible.
But a much better plan than what he was utilizing.
Yeah, I know.
That's fair.
Do you know how many people are bitten in New York City every year? Approximately 1,600. You could be 1,601 if you don't put a couple dollars in here. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. Grace, I would have emptied the wallet.
I'll get arrested, but you'll get remdesivir for the rest of your life. And that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday. All
right. On tonight's Before You Go, everyone's favorite conspiracy theorist, or if you have a favorite conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones, must pay $965 million. Don't know why they didn't round it up to a clean billion in damages to families of 8 Sandy Hook victims. So as the story goes, and as most of you know, the 2012 massacre in Connecticut, Alex Jones spread wild conspiracy theory stories that said it never happened. The theorist Alex Jones must pay $965 to families of 8 shooting victims and an FBI agent who responded to the attack for the suffering he caused them by spreading lies on his platform. So the counts include liability for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and violation of the Unfair Trade Practices Act for creating a fake narrative for the mass shooting as a hoax. The family claimed Jones profited from the lies, which is true, while they were harassed and abused by those who beloved him. So, fuck, man. I know he has a lot of money, and I know he probably has access to another lot of money. You know, people who are going to donate $965 fucking million. I mean, yeah, good, but Jesus Christ, a shade under $1 billion.
Well, I'm gonna say the same thing that Alan got mad at me for.
Okay.
Should we not want Alex Jones then to be successful moving forward, so that these people can get their $120 million? I
mean, it's not illogical. Does he? But his net worth is about $900 million. So I don't know how much I mean, what does net worth equate to if you like liquidate it all? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's I mean, yeah, but that's like
probably half of it. Let's say, just to be conservative, right?
That slays me. Okay, listen. I didn't know that. I didn't know what his net worth was, and that kills me because I looked up Dennis Leary's net worth today, and it was like $30 million. That's fucking $900 million. Fuck him.
But yeah, but again, that's like the Trump being worth $10 billion. Like, he's got Trump Tower in New York City. You know, like, he doesn't have that money, but he's got that building that's estimated to be worth that much. Alex Jones has like studios and, you know, these types of things that, like, they're not liquid assets. You know, he'd have to sell them, and how much money to get for
all
them.
Of his existing content, you know, like a musician.
Okay.
Like all of that shit, that shit. So, yeah, I mean, fuck him, right? Let him be poor. He won't be poor because people like this aren't like, he's just not gonna pay it. I don't think I think when things like this happen, like, people don't like it. This guy's not gonna be broke. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think these people are gonna get all the money. I think at some point, like, can't they go to like arbitration and settle for less, even though a court has been like, you should pay them this much? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we should. This is maybe a question for our legal counsel on how things like this work. But I mean, I think the decision overall was, this guy's a shitbag and said some shitty shit about some shit that actually happened, and he was like, nah, it didn't. So fucking is a fucking government conspiracy. Like,
this is the thing. Like, he says no, it didn't, and it was a conspiracy for fucking everything. And this was one that he wouldn't fucking let go. It's one that he couldn't fucking get away from. He's a piece of shit. That's why I don't like him. I hope he gets fire ants crawls in his dick hole or something.
That's fair. I mean, I wouldn't even just send him to jail or something. Like, I don't care about.
Yeah, no, you can't send him to jail.
He didn't commit a crime.
I guess so, because he's
It's free speech. No matter how shitty the speech is, it's still free, and I don't want to live in that country. But making him accountable for his words, like, that's a different ball game. It's just once I saw the verdict, I was just kind of like, man, if I were one of those 8 families, I mean, I'm missing a child. I mean, I don't want to like bring the mood of the show down or anything. I'm not saying $120 million is going to like make up for that loss. but it'll make my depression a little more comfortable.
Yeah, but I mean, they should all get paid pretty handsomely either way.
Yeah. Well, this dickhead profited from spreading this fucking lie.
Yeah. Well, that's why the verdict came down the way it is. I'm fairly certain. I mean, that's yeah.
It helped mobilize his people to like go to his website, purchase his products, purchase his subscription fees, and all that stuff. So, I mean, I would like to see how much his empire expanded during that time, which may be why they came down with such a vast, gigantic number like that.
Right.
But it was probably pretty immense. He probably like doubled his audience through that whole thing. And I'm not sticking up for Alex Jones. To his credit, he has apologized for what that's worth. He has admitted that that's the thing he was most wrong about. He was like, he was going through a divorce and boozing like a motherfucker. And I think he was just like, holy shit, these people are buying this thing. I gotta keep selling it. Rah, 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 rah. And I think that's what he did.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did, but he's still a shitbag for doing it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, not defending him in that arena, but yeah.
We can rationalize everything personally or look at it objectively and be like, he was drinking and going through a divorce. You know, I have bad days, and sometimes I just tell my wife to shut up. You know what I mean? I'm not like, that fucking mass murder of elementary school children is a false flag by the U.S. government. That's not what I spend my fucking bad days doing.
That turd that didn't flush down the toilet? False flag by the American government.
Someone Chinese government planted that turd in my toilet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I flushed it twice. Sure as shit did. Knowing in the back of my mind, it was one flush.
It was just one.
But on a serious note, though, I think that journalists should pay attention to this verdict because there's a lot of quote unquote misinformation spread through quote unquote journalists, and there should be some ramifications for a lot of the bullshit we all fucking see. I know it's not like direct harassment about dead children or anything, but it does have stakes on an international scale when you see some of these stories that have not had any integrity behind the journalism that's reporting it.
But why did he continue to have such a hard on for it? Money?
I think money might have had something to do with it, but I think he thinks he was on to something at the time. And if you're a crazy man, which he's a little loony, I think he'd admit that, and you're on a bender and you think you're on to something, and like the more people push back against you, the more you think you're right. I mean, that could just be it. You're going through a delusional phase and you think you're on to something. People are buying it. More people are feeding you, quote unquote, information, and you trust it and keep going without verifying. Yeah.
Man.
And at the time too, of course, gun control started to be a big issue again, yada, yada, yada. And you're pushing back against that. So I'm not defending Alex Jones. I'm just saying that might be how you get there.
Right. Well, fuck it. You know what isn't a conspiracy? Where you can find the middle class holes. Tell the kiddos and the kidettes and all the children's and would-be conspiracy theorists and Alex Jones donators where you can find us.
Where can you find all those gay frogs that the hormones are turning them? Fucking, you can find those at your favorite fucking at your favorite.
That was a trick. You can look it up. That is actually done. A study by the FBI. I got a guy on the inside. He told me. He brought me a gay frog, and I had sex with it.
He told me he needed space landing fees.
Space landing fees for gay frogs.
I said, I got a lily pad for you right here. Sit down.
Oh, shit. Anyway, guys, you can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. We are at MDL Class Holes on Instagram and Twitter. We're the Middle Class Holes on Facebook and Instagram, right? No. Yeah, something like that. And TikTok. We're on TikTok, too. I might have fucked this one up. Search us, though. The Middle Class Holes. You'll find us. And check us out for your listening pleasures on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And, of course, please email us at tickleourtummies@gmail.com.
That's right. No emails this week, but that's okay because Brother Dewey Love was hitting us up back-to-back weeks. So we appreciate the love from Brother Dewey Love. He's going to kill me for that one. English professor. Appreciate it. Hey, next week, another good bad movie review. We're going to keep should we say it? Should we let them know?
You can tell them if you want to tell them.
Fucking
I'm reviewing it.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. That's right. The second installment of the Bill and Ted's Adventure series. That's
actually a proper way of saying it.
That's right. Tune in. Hey, folks, appreciate it. Take her easy. Join us next week. Hit us up. Take it easy.